no, 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 no. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Hey, Isabella, are you gonna come out and dance with me tonight? The stars look beautiful outside, so beautiful. Tell your mama I said sorry, I didn't bring you home early last night, and I was a little tipsy. I know she doesn't miss me, so put on those shoes that I like, and we'll go and dance the night away. Away. Because your love, we only live once. So, and me, I wanna have some fun. Funjam fupakama meno iko. Up on the way we go. Spend all my money on you, baby. Cause I can't take it with me when I'm dead. So tonight, we are young and alive.
Greetings. Good. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, our esteemed guests. Thank you for joining us on this Friday afternoon, and our apologies for keeping you waiting. We wanted to get a critical mass of people before we kick off our show, because we want as many eyes as possible to witness all of the things that we have to unveil for you today. My name is Obina Ukwani. I am the Chief Digital Officer at Bank of Kigali, and today I will be your host for the majority of the event. We have a show for you, a very special show. This show will be about new products, new digital services for our customers, but this show will be about much more. Banks all around the world have apps, they have technology. It's nothing new, it's the new standard. While we believe you will really love our products, I want you to keep focused on what we believe is the main thing, and that is the people. Today is about celebrating Rwanda's Bank of Kigali, about reflecting on a journey that began in 1966, but is still just getting started in 2022. We will reflect on the road traveled and dream about the journey ahead. Today is about celebrating human capacity, but more importantly, this show, or just as importantly, this show will be about the men and the women who worked so hard to get us to this point. We're going to celebrate them. We're going to celebrate the people and the teams here in Rwanda and beyond who are responsible for bringing us to this momentous occasion. We will celebrate the Bank of Kigali. We will convince you as our customers or our customers to be to expect more from us, to ask more of us. We want you to dream with us about the bright future of banking and technology in Rwanda. Welcome to the launch of BK Digital.
Good afternoon, everyone. And thank you, Obina, for the very good introduction. So we are honored, very, very honored by your presence today as we celebrate a milestone, an important milestone in our digital journey. We are happy to share just a glimpse of the work that our great people are doing. We have with us, I think, esteemed partners. I'll talk about Lighthouse that I can see here, Core Blue. I think we have our payments partner, Network International. We have Ukudo, our KYC partner. Who else? Obviously, we have the central bank represented by the Honorable Governor and the PS of the Ministry of Innovation and Technology. So this journey that we are celebrating today started about 4 years ago, not 2016. It started about 2018. And we set a vision to give anyone, anywhere, the best customer experience through digital. So this is our vision. And the journey started with a very tedious and comprehensive assessment of our capabilities, of our systems. And it revealed a lot of weaknesses and vulnerabilities. It revealed terrible architecture of our systems, very limited capabilities to deal with digital. It revealed skills gap, and that's why I think Obina is celebrating with me today, because we've been able to build critical skills for digital. So the journey had to involve a lot of heavy lifting. You can imagine that. Because we are working on infrastructure, on architecture, new systems, etc. We even do construction in our main building because we have to build a new data center. You can imagine the heavy lifting that we are doing. So we also did an implementation of a new core banking system. People call it in banking, it's like a heart transplant. You have to sort of change the heart of the bank. And we did that, and we're very happy that we were able to celebrate this milestone last year. We did a lot of an intensive training on the job. So most people you'll see here have been actually trained on the job, trained by doing things every day. So all that we had to do. We had to still serve our customers, try to give decent services to our customers. We had to run a business and deliver decent returns to our shareholders. All this heavy lifting at the same time managing a large organization. So yeah, so here we are today, and I think we've all learned and grown a lot in these past 4 years. I, for one, learned that to build a digital product, just like any other product, you need to design it with love and empathy. Design is critical. You need to build it with a lot of care. These are banking products. And at every corner, you have to add a security feature to make sure you are protecting people's monies and people's data. Critically important. Notwithstanding, and Governor will agree with me, all the regulatory requirements. All of that we had to do. So what we'll present to you today is great products built by great people. And you'll see these young people. I'm always amazed when I see them. They've learned on the job. They've put in so much passion, so much energy, that every day I'm also inspired by their work. So we are building products with a deep sense of responsibility, a deep sense of purpose, because the journey is transformation of people's lives. So it's not a simple thing. It's not just building banking products. We have a bigger purpose that is transforming lives in Rwanda. So what you'll see right after me, I think we have a video, but I can't wait for you to see our great people, Chanel, Ben Gitego, Barbara. I can't wait for you to meet them and see how passionate they are in the work they do every day. They'll probably be a bit nervous. I think everyone expects that, right? So please bear with them. They'll be nervous, but they have great things to present to you. So before I finish, I want to thank my great colleagues, the DF. I think they are stars. We have stars in the digital factory. But we have great technology teams in our core systems department, information security, IT, and you name it. We have great people in the bank who come to work every day with a sense of responsibility and purpose, because we believe we are not just any bank, we are the home bank, and we have a responsibility in the critical journey that our country has taken. So without further ado, I think I'll invite all of you to have a good time with us. As Obina says, it's a show. And I invite you to enjoy BK's show. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Diane. As we like to say in the digital factory, following the leader is what? Very important. Yeah? Good. All right. So, as our CEO said, we have a video for you. Today, we're going to tell you stories with presentation, with images, with demos, and with film. So, it's my pleasure to welcome you to view our first and longest film. It's about 15 minutes long, so just know that. On the history of digitization at Bank of Kigali. Please enjoy. Thank you.
Bank of Kigali, the largest bank in Rwanda, accelerating economic growth and improving Rwandan lives.
urabyumva icyo gihe nyine twakoraga dukoresha impapuro cyane
bakoreshaga system yitwa GBAM.
So in the last 10 years, the impact that Bank of Kigali has had on Rwanda, I think
for people to process.
Ngeze hano nasanze baratangiye baramaze kujya kuri core banking yitwa Delta, ariko mbere yaho bakoreshaga system yitwa GBAM. Uko babigenzaga mu gitondo bari bafite team yitwa abapositionist. Abo bantu bari bashinzwe mu gitondo kwakira ama statement. IT yagombaga kubaha ama bank statement ya buri account. Noneho mu gitondo agafata izo statement akagenda akazifilinga hamwe n'ibyo bitaga fish. Izo fish rero nizo zabaga zifiteho signature n'ifoto y'umukiriya. Iyo umukiriya yasaga rero aje gukora transaction, tuvuge aje kubikuza, yazanaga check ye, abo bapositioniste bakajya gushaka ya fish, bakajya kurebaho signature, bakareba niba ari we, noneho bagafata kuri ya statement, account statement babaga bakiriye mu gitondo, bagashyiraho amount, bagashyiraho ya check number, bakayandikaho, bakandikaho n'itariki. Noneho bamara kureba babona amafaranga ariho, bagafata ya statement na check bakabishyira umukashiya, kashiya nawe akabara amafaranga agahereza umukiriya. Nta hantu namwe yabikapcharinga.
ibintu byinjira muri system uvuga ngo iyo bahinduye uje gukora comptabilisation zo kwandika ibintu byo uwo ngo wundi yanditse.
Report to me, and I'll tell you, I remember traveling and coming back to Kigali and trying to withdraw money from the ATM just to find that my debit card had expired. And I remember thinking, you know, I'm an important client to this bank, and nobody had told me that my card was about to expire.
That all of that are put in place. Innovative solutions for the benefit of the customers.
A supplier sitting in New York or sitting in Muhanga or Rubavu is able to now capture an invoice, make sure that that invoice is received by Bank of Kigali.
Navuga ko banki iragendera mu cyerekezo cy'igihugu, urebye mu minsi izaza ibintu byose bizaba digital, nta kintu kizongera kuba manual.
You know, things that banks did exclusively in the past, we have to rethink and decide where do we fit in all of this.
When we talk about digital factory, we are looking mainly at giving them similar services, omni-channels, where they can access all services using any of our
success. And I think that is the most
want to serve them from wherever they are, and at no cost, pretty much.
For watching that patiently. I hope you enjoyed. So, as you can see, the bank has come a Good. As you can see, the bank has come a very, very long way, and there are still people with us at the bank who were there when the journey began. So now that we've reflected on the past, it's time to talk about the future. We have 3 products to present to you today, and we don't have any celebrities to present it to you. Rather, no, we don't have any old celebrities. Today we have new celebrities. It is my pleasure to bring onto the stage our first presenter, our product owner for mobile banking, who with her team of engineers and designers and business people and her cross-cutting collaboration with the rest of the bank has pioneered our flagship digital product as of today. It's my pleasure to invite onto the stage Chanel Muraza, the product owner for mobile banking.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. As Obina mentioned, let me stand here. As Obina mentioned, my names are Muraza Chanel. I'm the product owner of the BK Mobile channels. And today, it is my pleasure to speak to you and introduce to you our new BK Mobile app. I mean, after the video we just watched, the country, the people of Rwanda, their lives are evolving. People are changing. They are no longer tied to their homes. They are no longer tied to their workplaces. People are out there. They are making connections. So they really need a bank that can keep up. So it's also evident that people love the BK mobile app. People have the appetite for the mobile app. As of now, we have 57,000 active app users. And our vision at Bank of Kigali is to make sure that every smartphone user in Rwanda is going to be using the BK mobile app. And because this vision is so important to us and to the country, I believe, we've worked so hard to make sure that the app that we're going to present to you today can actually match that vision and is going to attract every smartphone user in Rwanda. So ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to present to you the banking app that can keep up. Welcome to BK Mobile app. This app won't be like your average banking app. This app is convenient, it's flexible, it's reliable. It's going to give you an experience that is different from the experience that you are receiving in the in-person banking. With this app, you no longer have to line up in branches or rely on a customer relations manager to give you information regarding your accounts, because you can all do it in one place using this app. So you might ask yourselves, why did we choose to transform or even improve the experience for our customers? You know, as our customers' expectations evolve, of course, a great mobile banking experience is important to them. So this app is designed to give our customers the convenience that they were not receiving with the in-person banking. It's going to offer them the ability to manage and access all their financial services in one place. And I'm going to present to you a few of the many ways we have improved this experience. And the first one, you want to manage your beneficiaries, or you want to even find your favorite billers that you frequently use every day. You can all do it in one place, as you can see on this screen, using the new BK mobile app. Something else that is very important that I'm going to talk about is how this mobile app is going to allow users access to their financial or even their accounts. You can now see all your accounts in one place. We have, let me give you an example. You want to buy a car, right? I mean, most young people want to buy a car, people of my age. So I'm probably going to give you examples that I will relate more to. So you want to buy a car, but you want to track your spending. So this app is going to allow our users to track their spending. We have a feature that will show you your monthly insights, how much money that has come in your account in a particular month, and how much money that has gone out of your account. We call that the money insights. So with that great feature, you're going to be able to track your spending, see how much money you're spending, and how much money you are earning in that particular month. And I believe that if you're a good manager, this feature is going to help you. And for our people who like to receive or even make international payments, but they are hustling. They're hustling to know their IBAN. They don't know their IBAN. With this app, through the account details, you can now view your account details such as IBAN, and you don't have to rely on anyone to give you this. And one last thing that I want to talk about on this is, like our CEO just mentioned, the taxes. Taxes, if you're late, you're penalized. So I want to let you know that you no longer have to worry about missing your payments. You can now schedule all your payments using the app. You can not just schedule the taxes, you can even schedule payments such as your water bills, even your house managers. You don't have to think about, oh, did I miss the payment date? Because you can now schedule all transfers using the new BK mobile app. And so I have a question for the audience. Don't you all wish you could manage all your cards? I mean, I will start with our CEO. Yeah, like she just told us, as important as she is as the customer, but also as the CEO of the bank, she literally, her card expired and no one told her. And she had to wait for 3 weeks to renew her card. So with this new app, you're going to be able to manage all your cards in one place. You're going to have access and visibility to all your cards. You can see your card expiration date. You can see all your card balances, whether it's prepaid, debit, credit, name it, because we even have more coming in the future. So this app is also going to allow you to track your credit usage. For credit cards, mostly people were waiting for monthly statements on their emails, or even call the call centers or come to the branch to find out how much money they owe on their credit cards. With this app, you're going to track your credit card usage. You can see your maximum limit, you can see the credit you've used, and you can even see your next payment date. And you can even choose to pay right away using this new app. So, and there are many, many more amazing features that you can do on the app, such as setting your limits, your ATM limits, POS limits. You don't, like I said, we are introducing a bank that can keep up with your everyday life. And to you, our dear customers who are here today, I don't want to leave the stage without thanking you for the feedback you give to us on a daily basis. We've started a program that we call Digital Pioneers Program. This program allows our customers to test our products before we launch them. So with the feedback we receive from them, we improve, or even it helps us to build products that really address your pain points. So one of the most pain point and important feedback that we received from our customers was that they hate the inconvenience of lining up or even going to the branch to open accounts, even for people who are not customers or diaspora. So I would like to tell you that with your feedback, we took it and we went and created a great feature. So The good news is, very, very soon, for anyone here in the room or who is watching that doesn't have a BK account, you will no longer have to come to the bank to open an account, because with this new app, you're going to be able to do so using from anywhere, anytime. So please allow me. I'm going to take you through the self-onboarding or open account opening journey. It's going to be quick. It won't take you time, a long time. So let's get started. The first step, you're going to choose a language that you prefer to use throughout the whole journey. And the second, you're going to agree to the bank's terms and conditions. We have our regulator in the room. There are terms and conditions where you have to agree to become a banking customer. And the third thing, you are going, obviously, to choose to become a BK customer. After choosing to become a BK customer, we're going to give you an overview of the account that you are about to open. As you go through this process of opening an account, at the end, we offer you an account we call the STP account. With this account, you can deposit funds. You can even make bill payment. We can pay some bills, but to a certain limit, while waiting for our team to check all the documents that you shared with us for us to be able to unlock the rest of the account benefits. So after giving you an overview of the account you're going to open, you are going to start introducing yourself to us. Like I said, you are not going to move an inch from your home or from anywhere. You're going to do this still from your phone. And please make sure to make this hassle-free for yourselves. Make sure that you give us information that match the information on your ID, because in a few minutes, you're going to see that we are able to confirm your identity. So after introducing yourself, we are going to provide a mobile number, a phone number that we are going to verify. But also with this mobile number, we are going to be sending you notifications or anything that's related to your account. After providing your phone number, you are going to also provide some additional information about your marital or employment status. And after that, like I told you, the most exciting part of this whole onboarding journey is the ability to confirm your identity without, bringing a picture to the bank, because now you have to come to the bank with a picture. Now we are going to be able to confirm your identity without coming to the branch. So, ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to call our partner from Coablu to demonstrate this great technology, by the way, that is powered by our partner Ukudo. So Dan, please come to the stage so we demonstrate this.
Thank you, Chanel.
Yeah.
Just heads up. Your earrings are
Oh.
not on the mic. Sorry. So, as Chanel said, today I'm going to be verifying my identity through the banking app. It's very, very easy. I've done it about 50 different times today just to check this is all working really well. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to scan my passport. And you'll notice from the camera here, it detects whether there's glare. So if you have bad lighting where you're taking this, it will tell you and it will help you figure out how to take a good picture. So I'm hoping if I can get some light on me and this comes through, I might have to come around here. Here we go. So you can see it's taken a picture of my passport nice and quickly, and it's checking that I'm happy with this picture. And then once it goes through this, I have to check that I am the person that's taking this picture, I'm the person in the passport. So let's just say someone has stolen your passport, someone's trying to create an account on your behalf. And in this case, Chanel's stolen my passport, and she's going to show you. So it completes the scanning.
So let's say I stole Dan's passport, like you mentioned. So let's see if I'm going to be able to open an account using Dan's passport.
So nice and close in the circle, and you press record here. Slightly slower. And then it's validating who Chanel is, so it's checking her face against the passport. And as you can see here, it's decided that it isn't the person in the picture.
So as you can see, the face didn't match. So at this point, in our account opening journey, if someone tries to steal your ID and they try to open an account with your face, it will not work, because with this great technology we have, we are going to be able to detect your face, but also compare it with your ID for you to be able to continue. So let's actually see if this is Dan's passport. We're about to find out.
Good luck.
And everyone who is watching us. And I'm going to take you through the rest of the onboarding journey, like promised. So after verifying your identity, you are going to obviously consent to opening an account. So we will need your signature to make sure that you really, really want to open this account. After that, you are going to set your BK digital access. That means the username and password that you are going to be using to access this app. And next, you're going to set a passcode. So the passcode is the one that you're going to be using most of the times for login, but also for transactions, for confirming transactions. So, of course, after setting your passcode, then I would like to tell you now that congratulations, actually, you've become a BK customer. Yeah, so still emphasizing on the fact that you are not going to move an inch from where you were. So, of course, after opening an account, you need to activate it. So that we have also availed various ways you can top up digitally your account so that it can be activated. So this is also why you're going to still be doing the same. You're still going to use your app to activate your account. And one thing that is very important that I can't leave here without telling you is that behind all this, we have a platform that has been built by our team at Bank of Kigali, our back office team. We call it BK Digital HQ. This platform allows us to track your onboarding journey in real time. And this is done by our 24-hour support team, and I'm sure most of them are here, and they're going to be serving you 24 hours. So this platform is going to be used, yes, like I said, to track the onboarding journey in real time, but also to verify all the documents and everything you have provided to us and approve. And then, like when I started this, I told you that at the end, there is an account we give you, but while the back office verification is going on, this platform, while it's doing that, after the back office verification, that's when, after clicking approve, that's when the whole account is unlocked, and now you can enjoy banking with Bank of Kigali with your current account. So what I just showed you, the features that I demonstrated here are a few of the features of the app. Of course, for the people who have had access or who have tested with us, they know that this app has many features that I didn't get the opportunity to demonstrate to you, and some of them are here on the screen. And one thing I can assure you is that we are working every day to add on more features, but also to improve the customer experience. So, of course, we are open to more feedback, and we are open to receive how you want us to digitalize all processes. So, I can't wait for you all who are here today to experience all the amazing features that we are working on. Thank you.
All right. I don't think I heard the applause. Yeah, that's a little better. Excellent. Thank you so much, Chanel. Excellent presentation. I hope all of you enjoyed what was just unveiled to you. Someday soon, all of you will be banking with us on the BK mobile app. So we have a few more presentations. Before then, we'll take a short break. We have a video that will illustrate how we work together, side by side, across the entire Bank of Kigali to deliver some of these amazing products and services. Enjoy.
Bank of Kigali, the largest bank in Rwanda. Accelerating economic growth and improving Rwandan lives. Convenient payment options, anytime, anywhere. For your loved ones and business partners, because banking is something you do, not somewhere you go. Whether on the phone, tablet, smartphone, or computer, you receive personalized and timely services, saving your time, creating space for the important things, a fulfilled type of living. Reducing operating costs for small businesses and meeting customers' expectations. Creating unique experiences, optimizing revenues, and creating everlasting wealth. We're building a legacy for generations to come, a frontline force for the Rwandan economy. BK goes digital, for Rwandans by Rwandans. A dream to transform lives, the product of our imagination. Powerful enough to create a whole new world. The courage to dream big and different is what shaped our unique journey and will secure our future.
So that we can be able to start off this next session, I'm going to ask the BK CEO to deduct some money from what she told me. If you open an account with the BK app, you'll find some money in there. So for anybody who's not seated yet, 500,000 might go off what you could be getting in your account. Is that a harsh punishment? Where do we start? All right. So I'll start by introducing myself. I think, first of all, it's important to mention that a lot is happening in this country. I first landed here in 2008. And so I've witnessed a lot of the transformation that has happened in Rwanda. I remember that time, there was a bank we were dealing with for our salaries, and every time we needed to transact, the papers were coming in French. And you had no way of arguing. So we didn't know whether whatever was being said there, comme ci, comme ça, it was okay. But we've watched the transformation and the changes that this country has been going through, and I want us to give a round of applause to the management and the leadership of Rwanda. So my name is Eugene Anangwe. And I'm happy to be moderating this session. And I work with CNBC Africa. And CNBC Africa's role is to propel and to amplify the great business voices and the great business events that are taking place here in Rwanda and across Africa. And so to help us go through this particular session, I'd like to invite my panelists who will be joining me right here on set. And I want to start off by calling the Bank of Kigali Chief Executive Officer, Dr. Diane Karusisi. Let's give her a round of applause as she comes. Let me also bring on set the smooth talker himself, Obina Okwani, Chief Digital Officer, Bank of Kigali. Allow me to also bring on set the Chief Executive Officer, MTN Rwanda, Mapula Bodibe. Ladies and gentlemen, the regulator, John Rwangombwa, the Governor, Central Bank of Rwanda. And also joining us today is Eve Iradukunda, the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Innovation and ICT of Rwanda. when I was invited to do this session, I looked at the panel and I said, yes, this I can do. It's not a manual. The representation is amazing in terms of gender, and we are going to have an amazing conversation right here. This conversation is not supposed to end on these four walls here. I want us to amplify it through the social media platforms. Use the hashtag BKDigital, and feel free to tag Bank of Kigali and every other panelist that is here that is on social media. Right, so I want to start off with our host today. Actually, for this big event, I mean, don't run away from me. You've handled enough pressure, this you can do. I want to hear, first of all, from you. How do you feel, first of all, sitting there, having gone through the stage of what has just happened here today? What does it make you feel, first of all, looking at the journey, where it all started, and now at this particular moment where we're seated today?
Thank you, Eugene, for being with us today. I think my feelings are mainly, I think, pride when I see what Chanel, Ben, and Barbara have presented. I'm very proud. But also, I measure the journey we've traveled so far. And I would be lying if I would say that we didn't have many sleepless nights, sometimes a lot of anxiety. But I feel a sense of fulfillment and satisfaction because we are celebrating a milestone. Yeah. But also I measure what is ahead of us, which is daunting because now we are setting the bar very high on the expectations. Yeah. And I expect all our clients to be challenging us. Now that we've presented all these things and you've seen our capabilities, I want people to be challenging us every other day, add this feature, change this experience. Because now we have the capability, we have a team that can do that. And I measure the journey that is still ahead of us. And I feel humbled because leading a large bank, being entrusted with people's funds, I think it's really our job to make sure they have great experiences with us.
Yeah, but a digital factory, why? I mean, you could have chosen to just sit in a comfort zone and say we are good. I mean, our customers are just okay with what they're doing. What inspired the idea of putting together a digital factory, and what are the expectations from it?
So I explained probably briefly the journey. We started with comprehensive assessments of what we need to, because every one of us understands and agrees that the future is digital. Yeah. So we have to be able to offer experiences on the phone, mainly on a smartphone, to all our clients. Yeah. And we realized that getting there will require a lot of investment in infrastructure, servers, you name it. But we needed to set up a special team that will be mandated to. And I remember when we started recruiting, and you would see some people coming with dreadlocks, and they'll be like, "But guys, we're in the bank. We want you to have a tie and a suit like everyone else." But I came to understand that if you want innovators, and now we are hiring designers, you've seen that all this artwork is actually done by people. We are not hiring the usual banker. It's not a normal banker. We are hiring people who bring a diverse skill set, and we also want them to be very agile in the way they function. They can't, follow all the processes. We want them, of course, to be compliant, but we want to give them some room of maneuver on how they deliver. So we set up the digital factory. I think you should visit it. It's actually a beautiful place. And we have great minds. Most of them are probably under 30. Obina must be the oldest with just 30, right? Sorry. And the energy that in that place, I think is super inspiring. Right. And things are happening. So you've seen the products that they're developing. And I'm very proud that we are able, as a bank, to own the experiences of our clients. Right. So we can contract third party for back-end solutions, a core banking system. We won't develop that. But when it comes to how our clients transact, we want to own it, because you cannot really outsource a client experience. Yeah. And we are very proud that we have solutions that we own. We have the source code. And the client can tell us, I would want you to change that. And we're able to do that in no time. Right. And this sense of independence, I think, is very important to us. The
sense of independence is very important. Finally, a place where you're not your hair. You are what you can deliver. I'm going to skip Obina for a minute and then go to Mapula. Mapula, first of all, a warm Rwanda welcome to Mapula, first of all. You're the incoming, actually the current new MTN Rwanda CEO. And we're now talking about digital financing services and solutions. As you come and check your in-desk, I'm sure you've already had a lot of that on your desk when you arrived at your office. What is it that you're going to be doing in line with what is happening here today? What is actually your role, if we can start from there?
No, thank you, Eugene, and good evening, everyone. I want to start off by congratulating Diane and her team. I think what you've done is really bold and ambitious, but it's quite transformational, and I think we are quite proud to be a partner of yours in this journey. So I think from an MTN perspective, the role is twofold. I think the first part is that, first and foremost, you need the infrastructure.
Yeah.
The technology that enables digital services to function is really our network.
Yeah.
And I think we're quite proud about the fact that we are the leading provider of technology from a network perspective in Rwanda, and we've been able to provide that across the country, which enables digital services to then function on that. I think secondly, smartphone is obviously a biggest barrier today. So most people are within a coverage area, but overcoming the hurdle of connectivity is really about the smartphone. And the reason we were interested in really partnering with BK in this journey is that once you have the smartphone as a barrier and you are able to remove that, you are able to then enable the access that consumers want. And MTN Rwanda has always been a driver for digital and financial inclusion, and we recognize that smartphone is the biggest barrier right now. Globally, it's not unique to Rwanda, but globally we still have more than 3 billion people who don't have access to connectivity because of smartphones. And I think the pioneering action that's been taken in this country, obviously we're proud to be a part of it, enables us to remove that barrier. And then secondly, with our subsidiary Mobile Money Rwanda Limited, we've been able to then use our digital financial services offering to allow for the payment. I think one of the beauties about the service is that it enables everyone, whether you are in the rural areas, whether you are in the city. So for us, it's quite exciting because we've been able to allow for anybody to access smartphones. So from as little as 48,000 for a 3G device, and it goes all the way to high value devices. So I think we are looking at 3 parts of the journey: the connectivity, the smartphone, as well as the service that allows for the payment.
Right. I'll be hearing from the regulator, and I'll also be coming back to Obina as promised, but let me go over to the PS. From a policy perspective, we're talking about a country that is deliberate in pushing policy around digital finance services in this country. Why?
Thank you, and first of all, so congratulations to Bank of Kigali for this amazing launch and for having us. And now to your question, it's no different when you think from a policy perspective to a bank that is serving clients. At the center is the citizen. It's the client. So the policies that we're thinking about or designing, together working with other institutions, they're not policies that are far off from what is happening in the private sector. So whether it's the infrastructure that was just talked about, how we accelerate the services, is thinking about what kind of policies that enable that ecosystem to happen. But allow me to highlight the fact that while the journey has been one that is really transformative, and it's anchored into the goals of the leadership of the country, we think of this kind of milestone as yet another affirmation that we are on track. But I want to remind we are not yet there. So we sitting here celebrating what I believe is most transformational is the ability of the team. And I think I really want to congratulate the bank for nurturing the kind of talent that is able to create our own solutions. So if you look at the kind of policies we've been working on over the years, and the transformation in that is the fact that we're working away from imported solution, for lack of better words, but building the capacity. So the talent, the skilling has been at the center of the policy, hence different partnerships with education institutions, because we know it's not just the policy, but it's capabilities, the human capabilities to do the work.
Right.
So that's number one. Number two is enabling the citizen as the receiving end. So I'm happy to see what is also launched today, the device financing. If these services are digitalized and made easy, but citizens cannot access, it does not make sense. So the policies we are working on are those that ease the financing of devices, but also most importantly, creating channels that invite partners like the bank, MTN, and others to invest in enabled citizens. So this is digital literacy that we are working on. So I think what we are seeing here is a result of that environment where both the government institutions but also the private sector can drive that transformation that is anchored into building capabilities.
Right. And so the PS is saying, hold up. No, don't party yet. Don't celebrate us yet. There's still a long way to go. But let me hear from the central bank governor as the regulator. Governor John, how would you describe what we just witnessed today? We're talking partnerships. How would you describe today's event?
Yeah, thank you, Eugene. Let me join my colleagues to start by congratulating our colleagues, Bank of Kigali, and thank you for inviting us to be part of your interesting show. It's really exciting. It's exciting times to live in. When you look at these products, but beyond the products, as the PS has said, the young ladies and gentlemen that were presenting the products, young, smart, confident, that shows more will come. So we really congratulate Bank of Kigali for this show. Yeah. But at the end of the day, what is it all about? It's we as a country, why are we excited to be part of this? It's as PS has said, it's really speaking to the bigger vision of the country. We've been talking cashless, we've been talking going cashless. There's a lot of efforts that have been going on to go cashless. And as your question about partnerships, we can't talk of cashless if each individual player was to go about it individually. So we are all in the same market, we are all serving the same public. So we can cooperate in many ways, of course, compete on products, but there are some factors that really has to unite us. So the example we just experienced, BK partnering with MTN on the acquiring smartphones in facilitated manner, that is one of the partnerships we've seen. But beyond that, we already have, almost all banks have developed their digital products, and we have MTN with their own products, but these products are speaking to each other today. So today I'm able to use my bank app to transact using MTN channels. I'm able to withdraw money from my bank account to my MTN wallet or to my Airtel wallet, and then use it to transact, use it to send it to across the country. So these partnerships have been really key in driving the cashless agenda, and that's what we want to see. That's why we're excited to see this happening today. Of course, going forward, we can do better. We've had a lot of bilateral partnerships. What we want is industry partnerships. Like today, we are talking of the Rwanda National Digital Payments Suite that is being implemented that will link all these players. You don't have really to manage 10 agreements between you and the other players. Everything can be done through one suite. So there's a lot that has been going on in the market to put our efforts together, and we as a regulator, we are there to not just oversee and enforce, but to facilitate as well. So we are, together with the means of ICT, we've been leading in the campaign, on education campaign. That's one of the areas that we are partnering with all the industry players. part of the challenges in financial inclusion and going digital is citizens understanding the benefits and what is required. There's issues of security around these digital channels. So we've been working together as an industry to educate the public on the benefits of going digital. So there's a lot we achieve together, but we are really happy that the biggest bank in the country is taking the lead. Okay, let me say it's taking the lead. There are others that have already done some things, but we are here to celebrate BK, and so congratulations, BK.
Governor, it was important to hear that coming from you. Thank you so much. Obin, a lot has been said about the digital factory. We've witnessed, and I personally was also here, behind the scenes. I've seen the kind of work put behind it. But what is its DNA? How does it run? What drives it?
Thank you, first of all, Eugene, for moderating. Thank you, everyone, for joining us again. It's not an easy question to answer. Many things drive us, but I'd say obviously the people. And then, when we look for those people, we look for people who are passionate, people who are growth-minded, right? Few people come ready, right? But we believe that we can make people ready, right? We equip them, we encourage them, we trust them, right? In an event like this, there's so many moving pieces. The events, the products, there's so much happening.
Yeah.
And you can't control everything as one individual, right? Yeah. At some point, you do your best, you plan, you delegate, you train people to have the right skills to take on the required tasks. In our case, we first started by bringing on some partners who are actually here. A whole team from London, 2 teams, Core Blue and Lighthouse, who have worked hand in hand with us to build, but more importantly, to train, to exchange knowledge and skills with our local staff. And then eventually, together, we create something amazing. So, passion, resilience, kind of keeping your eye on the prize. It's never easy. The task itself is difficult, but the obstacles in the way, whether it's interactions with other people within the bank or outside the bank, those relationships, unforeseen technical challenges, you have to stick with it and persist and keep pushing towards the finish line. I mean, as recent as 24 hours ago, we were still working on things related to the products we launched today. But all along the way, we kind of kept faith because we trust the people who are working to bring this to reality. So it's a lot of soft things, right? That make us tick. But I tell my team that the 2 things that unite us. One is character. The second is your output, right? If you're not making things happen, you have no place on the team.
Yeah.
And of course, if your character is poor, you might soon find yourself off the team.
Yeah.
So these are a few of the things that make us who we are.
Tick. Interesting. It's a journey or a process for you. Is it a journey or a process?
A general process?
Is it a journey or a process? How do you look at it?
Absolutely, it's a journey, and you follow many processes on that journey.
Right. Smart. Fair enough. I want to come back to Dr. Diane. I mean, there's something, I want to play the devil's advocate, for now. What we've been hearing, the speeches that have come up, the solution that is being done, there's a sense of saying, look, we want to reduce customer interaction at the banking hall. So that's why we are pushing to create digital banking or financial solutions. Talk to us, or talk to a group of people who are seeing this as a risk, first of all, for their jobs, in terms of that teller who now feels, whoa, wait a minute. This thing is going to take away my job, and so I'm not going to be advocating for it. What message would you be telling that person right now if they're listening to you?
So it's very simple, and we communicate with our people often. Today we have, give or take, 300,000 clients active. It's very small in a country of 13 million people.
Yeah.
And we have ambitious as any organization, to reach 1 million, 2 million. Yeah. And for you to scale, there's no way you can scale if people have to queue to open an account. Yeah. And we tell people that their jobs are changing. Mm-hmm. Now you can find yourself at the till, cashing in and cashing out. Yeah. But you have, you're a human being, you have capabilities. We can train you and you can do more than that. You can be a salesperson, you can move in the back office, because the digital banking is creating so many other jobs that traditional banking did not have. So there's a place for everyone. Obviously, we need to do our best to train our people. And we also want people who want to move with times. Yeah. So if you think that you want to remain in the past, free, right? But we believe there's a place for everyone who is ambitious, who's willing to learn, and who's willing to move with us.
And the digitization process has been a journey.
Mm-hmm.
And you mentioned some of it right here today. Mm-hmm. What are the untold stories? What is it that you didn't tell us today?
Oh my, so I wouldn't tell you, because I would scare you.
Talk to us.
So last year, October last year, we migrated to a new core banking system. And some people say it's like a heart transplant. Some people say it's changing the engine of the plane when the plane is actually taking off. So the untold stories is that we have to still run a business while we are doing all this heavy lifting. You have to serve your customers and give them a decent service, because we are not alone in this market. We have so many competitors who are just there waiting for us to not do the right things so they can grab some market share. We have some shareholders probably in the room who expect a decent return. So it's a lot of work, a lot of communication, and these people, mind you, sometimes they don't agree. And when tech people don't agree, and I'm the one who's going to give a direction, and everyone is speaking Chinese, I'm like, so you don't agree, you are the expert, so what do you want me to do? Sometimes I have to take decisions that are risky, because I don't understand everything. But eventually I've learned, over the past couple of years, that most times my guts, don't lie to me. So when I sing, and I see someone is not able to explain clearly a problem, I can see that this person does not understand things well, because I'm a lay person. If you're not able to explain to me the problem, that means probably you don't understand yourself.
Correct.
So I've had to take decisions sometimes, very difficult, without full understanding of things. We always have mitigants. I have my risk people who will be there. What's the backup plan? Can we go back to the old system if the new system is not working? So we have to put in place all these mitigants. But you have to be bold and ambitious to say, today we are moving. And we have all the mitigants in place, but we are taking a leap of faith, moving, and trusting these young people with very important solution that people transact on. And eventually it works.
Right. So you've got to trust your guts. Good. Thank you. P.S., I want to bring you in on this. Rwanda set ambitious targets to move to cashless economy, and a lot has been happening in that particular space, like you just mentioned earlier. At what point do you think the country is today to achieving this digitization goal?
Well, thank you. I like that you put it broadly in the digitization. Cashless is one element, but we have many other metrics that we have to look at, broadly speaking, in digitization. Where we are now is really at the cusp of true innovation, because previously the focus was laying the foundation, which is the infrastructure. It was enabling regulatory and policy framework that most of it has been done. So where we are is not just digitizing services, but it's actually innovating the kind of services that enable collecting data and structuring data in a way that will influence the policies of the future, but also the products of the future. Any of the service that we have digitized now in Rwanda, and we are, to answer mathematically to your question, over 60% of the services government delivers to the citizens are fully digital. A few of them are semi-digital. But our goal by 2024 is to be at 100%. Now, any of these services generates data. And with the governor, the central bank, and the team, and many other players, we've been taking a step back and say, what kind of data do we have at our hands? How do we leverage the emerging technologies? How do we tap into, again, the brilliance of the talent that we have at hand to think about the next set of solutions?
Yeah.
So the journey is not just now a digital service or just cashless. It's actually now better products, the lending that have been talked about. How do we understand the customers in a better way that the lending or the loan products understand them better? So one of the projects is looking at the value chain in agriculture, for instance. How does a farmer receive the revenue? How do they spend it? How can we serve them better from a financial inclusion perspective? But also, how can the journey of that produce from the farm to the last consumer using e-commerce, market insights and other tools benefit better the farmer? So that's where we are. It's really, again, reaching our goal of digitization, globally speaking, but also better customized solutions to the citizens.
Right. I want to talk to the MTN CEO. I mean, in other economies, let's talk about the elephant that is not usually wanted in the room when it comes to the conversation between telcos and banks. A lot of people have always said or felt that there is a really thin line between what is competition and what is not competition. We have heard even in other economies where there have been complaints that telcos need to stick to their lane. They are not financial institutions. Leave financial institution duties to financial institutions. Coming back to Rwanda and probably overall vision as a telco in facilitating digital financial services, how would you be able to define the kind of collaboration that we are seeing here, and how can it be uniquely used to change lives? Because at the end of the day, that's the bottom line.
Thank you, Eugene. I mean, it's a very important question you're asking, and I like what was said earlier. You know, the digitization of the country is everyone's responsibility.
Correct.
And I think it's very important that we all play a part. Now, one of the things that we have is quite a wide distribution of our network, as I've mentioned, but we also have a wide distribution of touch points in terms of our agency network. Now, when you have scale, and I think Dr. Diane spoke about it earlier, when you have scale like ourselves, where you're already enabling connectivity, where consumers are actively needing the service to enable that cashless access, I think we have a role to play.
Yeah.
And I think we're quite proud of the work that we've done with Mobile Money Rwanda to enable that. But I think it's a journey that allows for partnership.
Yeah.
And I think you see it in the work that's been done with the launch of our partnership with BK, because I think whilst the technology allows for the e-commerce to happen, you still need the value chain of the banking ecosystem to enable that. I mean, we work in a regulated environment, and it's very important that that relationship between ourselves as a telco player is quite seamlessly allowing for that transaction between ourselves and the bank. So I look at it as a partnership.
Yeah.
I think we have a role to play to leverage our footprint and our network to enable that ubiquitous access to financial services.
Right.
So it's more of a partnership than competition, in my view.
More of a partnership, and also you mentioned a word that is a buzzword, value chain. And I want to bring in the governor, the central bank governor here, and talk to us a bit about the payment infrastructure for interbank, you know, because there's a lot of, silently, some of them are asking us this question. I mean, we have a challenge here. I mean, if this is fixed, then it makes the value chain even smoother. What's the future from a perspective of you know, regulation?
No, I think the payment infrastructure solutions for interbank payments is run and managed by the central bank. We have what we call Rwanda Integrated Payment System. And we've been improving it. We're just finalizing a phase of upgrading it. So when we say banks talking to each other, it's customers of banks talking to each other. Like today, I use my app. I transfer money from my bank account to a bank account of my colleague in another bank, and this is done through the banks, but this is channeled through the RTGS, our payment system. So again, what we've improved today is originally we used to have only 2 sessions of processing payments. I think we had one in the morning and one in the afternoon, so the rest will just collect payment orders and wait for the clearing sessions. Today, it's not easy to go real time because we are dealing with big payments, so there's allows some few minutes for banks to do background check whether it's bona fide transaction. But at least now it's I would say it's if it's some short, small payments are done instantly, others take some few minutes. It's only big payments that take, but I think we've said maximum shouldn't take more than 2 hours now. Originally it would close the business day at 6. We've now opened up to 24/7. Now any time of the day you can transact. Of course, in that case, it's using digital channels. You want to be sending checks to banks at midnight, but anytime using the digital channels, you can transfer money from one bank account to another. This system used to be closed over the weekends and public holidays. Now it's open again, as I said, 24/7.
Yeah.
And we also bring in more players. Originally, the microfinance institutions used to transact through banks. Now they're going to be transacting directly through the system. So there has been improvement as the market players are improving their digital products. We've also tried to improve our gateway that facilitates all these other payments to really modernize it to meet the demands of the industry and the cashes generally want to take. As said, government has taken the decision that all government payments will be digital. I think even all government services are given digital. So we are towing that line.
Right, that's interesting. And then you flagged something around security that requires a lot of background checks to be done, and that's where I bring down Obina to talk to us a bit about the issue of IT security. It's very important when we're talking about digital financial services. We saw demonstrations on how to do it and how secure it is, but you and I know that it's not just easier said than done to actually put that together. What does it take?
It takes a lot. And what we demoed today was just on the biometric side, right? Ensuring that the person who is transacting or who is getting onboarded as a customer is who they say they are. But things as granular as your card number, for instance. How is that number transmitted from one system to another?
Yeah.
Right? Should it be transmitted? If it is transmitted, it should be encrypted. Because the way that some of these things work in a web browser, some of that information, like if you check, sometimes your account number is passed as part of the HTML. So you can actually go in and see that, right? What if it's cached? And the next person that uses the browser can go in there and see your personal details.
Yeah.
So we have to go, line by line sometimes. We have an IT sec team, that's their job. They literally read every line of code. They look at the way the system operates, and they try to make sure that they can foresee and then advise us to mitigate any potential vulnerabilities. And of course, on the regulatory side, right, we do our best as an institution to make things safe, but if we fail, there are penalties, right? You pay a fee, but if it's serious enough, folks can go to jail.
Yeah.
It's very serious business, and that's why, as I said earlier, it can be difficult, painstaking to launch something and to innovate within this industry. But it's done in the best interest of the citizen.
Right.
And can I make a comment on that?
Yes, go ahead, Governor.
On the security issue, because it's really important that you brought it up. As we are talking of digital channels, we are talking of IT.
Correct.
And we know that with IT, the risk of cyber attacks is high. So as a regulator, I think, as Obina has just said, we have strict measures that enforce IT security across the industry. So there are clear requirements of what they have to put in place, and we really oversee whether it's working. But beyond just that, we are building what we call the Financial Sector Security Operations Center as the central bank. It's like a shield or an umbrella above the IT security systems of the financial institutions. So we have the National Cybersecurity Agency that is doing that at national level. Now we as a central bank, we are building that umbrella around the financial institutions to add another layer of cybersecurity to our financial sector. Mm-hmm. So that is really to assure our clients that as we are moving digital, we're also doing a lot to ensure that we protect our financial services or financial channels against these threats of cyber attacks.
Right. That's interesting. And Piers, from an intergovernmental and interstate perspective, Rwanda can't do this alone. Rwanda can't be the safe one alone because we're now borderless. When we talk about digital transactions, it doesn't know any passport, any visa to cross into the other border. What's the level of collaboration with probably, let's say, interstates to ensure that from the aspect of cybersecurity, dealing with cybersecurity, at what level would you be able to share with this forum today that you'll be able to give that confidence that you're safe?
Yeah, thank you. And I think Governor touched on it. We are guided by the newly established National Cybersecurity Authority, but as you put it, some would go a step further and say the wars of the future will be fought in the cyberspace, and that tends to be true if there are vulnerabilities on national infrastructure, not only in the banking but also other national infrastructure. Most of the grid systems in many countries are run using online systems for key utilities. So when we think about cybersecurity, it's really embracing the fact that we are one community, one global community today. So in terms of collaboration or cooperation, there are so many elements that we can talk about, but what I can assure you is that we are building capabilities, and I think that's where you begin from. Yeah. Building own capabilities to not only operate systems that are designed to do the job, but also to create our own mechanisms, not only to monitor cyber activity, but also to protect against attacks. So that cannot be done in a vacuum, as you rightly said. There is also the International Telecommunication Union. There is also different policies that guide how do you establish some of these measures. But maybe the last thing I would say is that we launched, the government launched a year ago, the Data Privacy and Protection Law, which is going to be the guiding law in terms of how all of this is enforced at institutional level. We have about a year now for compliance. So today, what is happening is building awareness and capacity. There's a lot of training that are benefiting banks and other institutions that hold data, but also when it comes to how safe and secure our hosting capabilities are. And so that's where I think the infrastructure, the resilience of our country and our data relies on being able to have the robust and secure infrastructure that we can be able to own and manage and monitor to ensure the safety of the data. So a lot is being done, but I think we can safely say that we're on the right track looking at what is being done.
Right. Dr. Diane, I mean, it must have cost BK an arm and a leg to put this digital solution together. And it's interesting that you are already, or have already experienced what it takes to invest in digitizing your services. Let's talk about the young entrepreneur or upcoming businesses that also are planning to learn from you and also want to digitize their processes. What's on offer in terms of support, financial support, to digitize their operations?
So first of all, I think for young entrepreneurs, what we want to offer is a seamless, way of transacting and managing their money, their funds. I think that's pretty much very important. When you're an entrepreneur, you really want to have full control over your finances. I think that we can offer now on digital platform. And it's also seamless and not costly. Because as an entrepreneur, I can imagine you spend a lot of time in building a company. You don't have time to go to the bank and check a balance, etc.
Yeah.
So that's one thing we offer. But as a bank, we also finance operations. Obviously, when it's a very young business that has not, shown even a proof of concept, it's difficult to engage. But we have a CSR arm that supports young entrepreneurs with training. We even do interest-free loans. This is our BK Urumuri project. And we do that, I think, every year we have a cohort of 20 to 30 young entrepreneurs that we take through training.
Yeah.
Because we want people to understand that building a business is not just having a great product.
Yeah.
Building a business is, building your accounting, building a team, managing a team. So there's a lot of things that are involved in building a business. And we take them through that training. And we even tell them, we give them tips. This is how banks want to see you.
Yeah.
This is what banks want to see you doing. If you deposit often with a bank, of course you get a better credit score.
Yeah.
And these are tips that we give young entrepreneurs. So when they come to us for a loan facility, a working capital facility, we can see the track record on the account, and you're able to score them and give them credit.
Right. Mapula, I want to hear from you. What's your vision for investing in the tech sector? I mean, over the next, let's say, 3, 4, 5 years to come.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very exciting time. I think one of the exciting things is that, first of all, digitization is really going to enable e-commerce. And I think what that means is that it actually allows for the industry as well as the country to scale in terms of opportunities to transact. From an MTN perspective, I think one of the things we are proud of is that we are planning quite an exciting rollout to enable our network. So I think we have a network which is quite ubiquitous across the country, but to really enjoy the power of the internet, you really need to have the best-in-class technology, and that means 4G. And when you have services like what we saw today in terms of the applications that were presented, as well as the internet banking, the real power of the experience, user experience has become a differentiator. For the customers to really enjoy the power of that experience, you need the best-in-class connectivity. And we're quite excited to be preparing to invest quite heavily in the next few years on enabling full ubiquitous access to 4G, which I think is still limited. I mean, you saw the numbers, 20% penetration of smartphone. And I think we're also quite excited because there's a lot of partnership opportunities in terms of putting devices in the hands of consumers. We started a journey in 2020 where we started on a program together with the Ministry of ICT, Connecting Rwanda. Now, the road is long. I mean, it's really something that we have to acknowledge, because at 20% penetration, what it means is that there's a lot of investment that has to come together with partnerships like what we formed, but not just with the banks, but with many other partners across the world. So I think I would say that we are pretty much at an exciting stage of beginning the journey. But I think that the investment commitment from our side is there, both in terms of enabling the connectivity as well as enhancing the access from a smartphone perspective.
Right. I'll come to you, Obina, but before that, let me talk to the Central Bank Governor just on that 20% penetration. Governor, what would you propose from a regulatory perspective for the players, for the stakeholders, to speed up this process, to increase this penetration level? Are we looking at a scenario of going a carrot or a stick way? I mean, what would work?
I think it goes back to the question you asked me at the beginning of partnerships and collaboration among the industry players. Today, as I said, everybody's busy innovating and everybody's busy trying to roll out access points. But when we start working together, you can build on what your colleague has developed. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Like today, MTN has merchant payment codes.
Mm-hmm.
You only need to have, you need to have money on the MTN mobile account to use that code. Mm-hmm. I want to use it with my BK or the other bank account to spend money without having to withdraw it from here to there.
Yeah.
So that's one example. Today we have agents, and you almost find that every financial institution is recruiting agents. So how do we ensure interoperability of these agents? So as I said, the interoperability suite that is being rolled out is going to be a big game changer in this, where financial institutions will be, let me say, financial service providers, because even the telecom, in fact, it's no longer even telecom, it's mobile money financial service providers will be talking to each other. So the more we collaborate and the more we use others' channels and just develop products. So I think we should be competing on products, but for the channels, we need to be working together. So you make it easy in terms of cost, you make it affordable, and also accessibility, it's easy. So for me, if I don't have to acquire every financial institution's product to use some of these channels outside there, so that is going really to drive penetration, and
right.
that is very key. Penetration is the biggest hindrance to penetration today. One is access, because of those limitations I said. Is education. There we are working together, as I said earlier, to educate people on their benefits, challenges, risks, and all that. But of course, again, what we are doing as a central bank, with the new mandate we are given under this Financial Service Consumer Protection Law, is to give confidence to the consumers. So at least we follow up this, whether the quality of service being given by the service providers, and as consumers are assured of the quality of service, assured of any complaints are handled immediately. The other day we are launching the complaint handling platform. So all of these will come together to really bring more people in the use of the financial services.
Mm. That's very interesting. And Obinna, there'd be a lot of onboarding clients for branchless, services. And through this process, what are the trends? What are you seeing as the red flags, or probably the easy way out, or what is it like right now so far?
Yeah, so I think certainly outside of Rwanda, other countries in Africa, Nigeria, Egypt, South Africa, etc., digital customer self-onboarding is the new standard. You can hardly find a new fintech launching a product that doesn't have digital customer onboarding built in.
Yeah.
It's standard. And of course, as you've seen, because we have a partner here with us today, Kudo, there are so many companies that you can sign deals with who will help you implement it quickly. But I think in Rwanda, I think the race has begun now. I know there are a few other banks, at least two, I think Equity Bank and INM, who either already had this feature available, or it was in testing. Right? So I know people are thinking about it. And of course, people are getting busier. You cannot have a branch in every zip code. Doesn't make any financial sense anymore. It's not scalable. So you do need to allow people to join your networks without having to necessarily interact with someone or find themselves at a certain location. So you can call it a trend, but I just think it's a present reality.
Yeah.
And we have now caught up, right? And I think now that we have that, it will enable so many other things.
Right. I want us to start taking our closing remarks, just from a perspective of commitments. I like doing this because at the end of the day, part of our role is to be able to record those commitments and come back after some time and take you on those commitments, but in a good way. So I'll start with you, Dr. Diane Karusisi. What is it that you're committing? First of all, from a country perspective in plugging into the digital or digitization of the economy perspective, but also for your clients at Bank of Kigali.
Thank you for the question. I think we've built already a solid foundation with the products that we've showcased today. But I think what we are committing is we want to bring more digital experiences on the app. So today you can onboard digitally, you can transfer money, you can do so many things, pay your bills. But we want you to be able to manage, to apply for loans, to restructure your loans, etc. And remember, we are a group of companies. We have a bank, we have an investment bank, we have an insurance company, we have tech house, etc. We want eventually to be able to tell our clients, you bank with us, but you want to have an insurance policy, you can have it on the app. You want to invest because you have extra cash, you have savings. We can tell you, you can buy a bigger stock, you can buy a Bralira stock. We want to add all these experiences on the app or on an internet banking platform. For a corporate company, when you have extra cash, we want to help our clients manage liquidity. You can invest in a money market fund, etc. So these are all experiences that we have to bring on our channels. And we believe, an app is something very normal. Everyone has one. Internet banking platform, everyone has one. But the more value-added services you offer, I think you start differentiating yourselves. So that's what we want to do, to differentiate ourselves by offering more and more products on our platforms.
Right. While you still have the mic, I want to ask you this. You've overseen a lot of transformation at Bank of Kigali, and so maybe by today's milestone, if you look back and probably also fast forward, what sort of legacy would you want to be remembered?
Wow, that's a difficult one. I think we are in a journey of transforming our country, and we're just contributing, doing our part. I think I just want to be remembered as someone who did her part. That's it.
Good. Thank you so much. I think from protocol perspective, I will skip Obina. Your boss has just spoken. Let's hear from Mapula. What would be your closing remarks? Looking back at what has just happened today, how do you plug as MTN Rwanda into the digitization process of the country? And what is your commitment as a telco, one of the biggest, actually the biggest in Rwanda?
Thank you. I think first and foremost, MTN's belief globally across all our market is that everyone deserves the benefit of a modern connected life. But what we also recognize is that the connectivity alone, what is proverbially called the pipe, is not going to be enough. So I think most of our last 15, 20 years have been spent laying the foundation. What the future looks like for us is really enabling a digital future for every Rwandan. And what that means is that we want to get a smartphone into every Rwandan's hand. We're quite ambitious and bold about it, and we are willing to really put a lot of investment to make sure that that happens. Because what we recognize is that once digitization is in the hands of the Rwandans, we know that basically it allows for the country to grow. Not only from a sort of financial services perspective, but when you look around, there was talk earlier around some of the value chains, be it agri-tech or edu-tech. A lot of what we need to really unlock the growth in the country is pivoted on getting digitization in the hands of every, whether it's a child or a farmer. So I think we are very committed to the future of the country being digital. And I think we have a lot that is lined up in the pipeline to make sure that that happens.
Right, interesting. Sir Governor, your colleague in Kenya just yesterday was talking about how he's been receiving a lot of calls from the president there when it comes to pushing for financial inclusion in that country. And it culminated in a big announcement there that saw the 50% cut on the interest for the overdraft, solution there for digital inclusion. Talk to us a bit as we close. What sort of radical measures do you feel we could be expecting from the regulator perspective to spur that financial inclusion and also the digital inclusion and access in the country?
Maybe radical is a bit a strong word, but a lot has been going on from within the financial sector. We've seen phases of transformation within our financial sector, supported by different factors, of course regulation being a key factor in this. So what we can promise, you asked us to give promises on what we are doing, is we remain engaged in always creating an enabling environment for development, but within the context of stability and security of the financial sector.
Yeah.
So we've been really reforming our regulatory framework, and we always try. I know the financial institutions have maybe bigger capacity in terms of investing in a lot of things, but we're always trying to try and be ahead of the curve as a regulator to avoid stifling innovation because we are not sure of what is going to happen.
Yeah.
I know that there are still questions here and there. I know we've been discussing with the financial institutions on data hosting and all that. I think the new data protection law, the guidelines, we are working with the National Cybersecurity Agency to make it easier to take advantage of the technological advancements globally to support or to ease the restrictions on data hosting that are there.
Yeah.
So that allows further innovations within the financial institutions. But we remain a key player, especially on the identifying the bottlenecks to financial inclusion.
Yeah.
This year, just beginning of this year, we set up a new department in the central bank responsible for financial sector development. It's really going out of our mandate as a central bank. Normally, our main mandate is financial stability. But we thought we can't just be thinking of stability without playing a part in the development of the financial sector.
Yeah.
So it's a new department. We are challenging ourselves, what can we do to add to what all the other players are doing? And part of the drive we've been having in educating the communities on different financial products is within this new mandate we've taken on. The other mandate that is key is on the consumer protection, as I said. That assures the consumer, that gives confidence. The consumers gains more confidence in working with the financial service providers, and therefore we see more being onboarded on the use of the financial products. So, yeah, of course, we continue working with them and challenging them on what they can do better. And I'm happy that there are a lot of initiatives we're coming up to try and improve on consumer, on access to finance, which is good for the population, but also good for the financial service providers, for their businesses. So there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
I wouldn't see there's anything really that would call radical, but there's a lot going on, and we see ourselves as at the center of this, and so we need to play our part if we are to facilitate what they're doing.
Perfect. PS, you have the last word, and as you speak, talk to us about the fintechs, their future, from a policy perspective, to encourage them to build more, BK digital factories, so we can see even more of them spiraling out there. You have the last word.
No, thank you. Starting maybe from the fintech, as you ask, this is one area that is part of our proof of concept. As a country, I want to drive innovation, but also investment. What I would say is that we want more embracement of what they have to offer. We have seen a lot of innovative products by our startups. So partnership and collaboration with FSPs is going to be important to see these solutions enabling trade, enabling financial inclusion for those that are still underserved. So we want to continue to build different programs that can encourage the nurturing some of these young solutions that we're already seeing used on the market. But maybe to your question about what are we committing, the Ministry of ICT and Innovation has been running different programs in partnership with both other government institutions, but also the private sector, and we want to continue. In fact, we are scaling some of these initiatives. Let me just mention a few. One is the Digital Ambassadors Program. The issue of device has been mentioned, but digital literacy is another key issue to address, and I think a call to action not only to Bank of Kigali, that is indeed enabling this digital journey for your customers. As you onboard them on this, is really how do we make sure that they're ready to transact safely on these platforms that you're creating. So one of the programs that we're running at the ministry is deploying young graduates that are trained with the skills to train the cooperative members, the community health workers, and many others within their communities, and onboarding them where possible to be ready to play in the digital economy. We think this program is not just a government responsibility. We are scaling it from 100 digital ambassadors deployed across the country to about 2,000 within the next 6 months. But within the already existing agent network and many other network of the partners on the ground, we think we can touch more on the citizens. But that's just one of the many other things. Yeah. When it comes to the quality of service, the connectivity, as the CEO of MTN mentioned, a lot has to be done from investment, increasing access, but also the quality of service. Those are things that we're committing to continue to work on. I think the journey continues. Today we are celebrating a milestone that paves the way to more possibilities. Yeah. And I feel like we can walk away from this room knowing that with the teams that have been built, with the commitment of the leadership of the bank, there is a lot more that can be accomplished.
Right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, Diana Karusisi, CEO, Bank of Kigali, Obina Okwani, Chief Digital Officer, Bank of Kigali, Mapula Bodibe, CEO, MTN Rwanda, and of course, John Rwangomba, the Governor of Central Bank of Rwanda, and Ivy Radukunda, the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Innovation and ICT Rwanda. Thank you so much for being part of this conversation. I want to sign off. I'll just say thank you very much for being a part of this particular conversation and for allowing us to be part of this great milestone and historic event. As always, my name is Eugene Anangwe. Goodbye. Thank you very much. Thank you so much.
Typically picky, never letting go. But you don't know about it, you don't give me time, closing every door. But do I lose? Do I lose? Do I lose? Do I get back? Do I get across what I'm going through? So do I lose? Do I lose? Do I lose? Do I get back? Do I get across what I'm going through? I wanna jaribu siku mingi since that challenging times. I wanna jaribu try to hold me tight, I'm a little too high. I wanna jaribu siku mingi since that challenging times. I wanna jaribu try to hold me tight, I'm a little too high. You're emotional, like me you can feel things, but you don't put the bottle down. If you're capable of better things than me. So don't you lose, don't go lose it, don't you lose. to get across what you're going through. So I wanna journey. Skuming since the challenging times. I wanna journey. Try to hold me tight, I'm a little too hard. I wanna journey. Skuming since the challenging times. I wanna journey. Yeah. Try to hold me tight, I'm a little too hard. I'm a little too high. Thank you. I don't like another man on your timetable. I don't like it, even though homies are rolling with your calling in your face. I don't like the way you're getting high without me. I dislike it, you're rolling with the wrong ones, you're looking funny. Woo 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 woo, yeah. You're a blessing from the highest I can guarantee. Keeping it private on the regular is what you need. Step out the hard box and that's for me. Shake off the groupies and then see. Nunca posso sanganhar loki. Anytime you short I go hindu. Anytime you touch me I lose control. Nunca posso sanganhar baby. In any case that is a kunyakundi. In any case tonight it ain't dangerous. We're wildin', yeah, we're wildin'. Wildin' with my baby. Wildin', yeah, we're wildin'. Boo, 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 boo. We wildin', yeah, we're wildin'. Wildin' with my baby. Wildin', yeah, we're wildin'. I see you chillin' with your girls looking serious. But I know you're super high and moving curious. Your cup's so full with a jetty on the rocks tonight. I'll give you about an hour and you're by my side. Pure segato, Anthony. Mazimitsi numva nazo go with it. I need that delay, I need you around me. Come to think about it, you're the reason I've been empty. You're a blessing from the highest I can guarantee. Keeping it private on the regular is what you need. Step out the hot box and dance for me. Check off the groupies and then see. Nunca posso sanganhar loki. Anytime you short I go hindu. Anytime you touch me I lose control. Nunca posso sanganhar baby. In any case that is a kunyakumbi. In any case tonight it ain't dangerous. We're out there, we're out there. We're wildin' with my baby. Wildin', yeah, we're wildin'. Woo, 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 woo. We're wildin', yeah, we're wildin'. We're wildin' with